All right, diving deep into some fascinating stuff today, huh? We're talking AI, and I know you've been digging deep into this, going way beyond just the chatbot craze.
Oh, absolutely. It's a rabbit hole for
Yeah,
sure. But that's what makes it so interesting, right?
exactly. And your notes are full of these little hints about AI's potential to really turn things upside down, like in the next few years. We're talking huge shifts, not just some incremental upgrades.
Yeah, you've been hitting on this idea of AI becoming this massive force in society, and your research, it definitely backs that up.
Yeah, I'm seeing GPT all over your notes, and I have a feeling you're not just talking about another language model here.
You're right on the money. We're talking general purpose technology here, the kind of thing that changes everything.
Okay, so like, give me an example. What kind of GPT are we talking about?
Think fire, think electricity. Those weren't just inventions, they were complete game changers, right? Ripples through every corner of life, changes how we do, well, everything. Your notes suggest AI could be that next big fundamental shift.
So not just automating tasks, but like a complete societal overhaul. Okay, I am so ready for this. You even compared its impact to the internet, potentially even bigger, which is a wild thought. What makes you say that?
It all comes down to how we interact with technology, right? Like, think back to the time before we had graphical user interfaces,
Yeah.
before we had icons and windows and all that.
Oh man. Vaguely remember those dark ages from my childhood. Thankfully, point and click came to the rescue.
Exactly. GUIs make computers make sense to everyone.
Yeah.
And your notes, they point to a similar shift happening now, but this time, it's AI becoming the interface itself.
So, like how we're all talking to our devices now, asking Siri for the weather or telling Alexa to play some music. Is that what you mean? Like a taste of this bigger shift?
It's a glimpse, for sure. But now imagine that kind of conversational ability becoming as smooth and intuitive as working with another person, a colleague, who just gets you. That's the potential we're talking about. Natural language, just talking, becomes the main way we interact with all this technology.
Wow. Working with AI, not just barking orders at it.
Okay.
Now that changes things. But how does that actually look in real life? Like for me, for our listeners, how would our day-to-day be different?
Think about what GUIs did, right? Suddenly, you didn't have to be some kind of tech whiz to make documents or create spreadsheets. AI has that same power, but for even more complex stuff.
So wait, are you saying we'll all be coding soon? Because I don't know if I'm ready to add master programmer to my resume anytime soon.
Maybe not coding in the traditional sense, but your notes talk about this idea of English as the new coding language, which is pretty wild when you think about it. Imagine just describing what you want software to do, and the AI just does it, like
Right.
translates your words into code.
That sounds both amazing and a little terrifying. Okay, so if anyone can create software just by like talking about it, what happens to the whole app economy as we know it? Do we even need apps in that world? So are we saying goodbye to the App Store as we know it? Like, poof, it's gone. What comes next? I gotta say, it's exciting and a little unnerving at the same time.
It's a huge shift, no doubt. Your notes keep mentioning these AI agents. Instead of like juggling a million different apps, you'd have a few of these AI agents, each one super specialized, and they could all talk to each other seamlessly.
Okay, so instead of my travel app, my ride-sharing app, my restaurant app, I've got like one travel agent AI that just handles everything.
Exactly. And it wouldn't just book flights and find you a place to eat. We're talking about an AI that gets you, understands your preferences, your budget, your travel style, even your weird dietary restrictions.
Okay, that actually sounds kind of amazing, like having a personal assistant who can just deal with all the details while I just show up and enjoy the trip. But how would these agents even work? Are we just talking about super smart search engines or something?
It goes way beyond search. Remember that QuickBooks example in your notes. Imagine instead of using accounting software, you have an AI accountant that just takes care of everything. Your notes called this service as a software, or SaaS flipped on its head. The AI becomes a service itself.
Okay, I get it. But wouldn't that put a lot of accountants out of work? Like, what happens to the people whose jobs these AIs can just do?
It's a huge question, and you definitely picked up on that in your notes. It mentions this shift could be a $4.6 trillion economic opportunity.
Okay, that's a big number. But, like, what does that even mean?
For perspective, that's roughly the entire GDP of Japan, the world's third largest economy.
Wow. Okay. So we're not just talking about replacing jobs, we're talking about creating whole new industries and markets around AI-powered services.
Absolutely. Some jobs will become automated, yeah. But we're also going to see new jobs popping up around AI development, training, managing all this.
Yeah.
Plus, there's the potential for better productivity, economic growth, all of that.
I'm starting to see how this AI thing, it's bigger than just some tech trend. It's about adapting to a world where AI is just a part of everything. You even mentioned this AI literacy thing becoming as essential as basic math or language skills.
Right. It's not about everyone becoming AI programmers overnight. It's about, understanding how AI works, what it can and can't do, and how to interact with it
So
effectively.
how we teach kids about online safety and, being smart about what they see online, AI literacy would be like how to navigate this new world responsibly, ethically.
Exactly. And within companies, organizations, your notes talk about an interesting shift, like the CHRO, the Chief Human Resources Officer, becoming central to this whole AI adoption thing.
Really? I would have thought that was a job for the CIO, the tech people.
Think about it. AI isn't just about installing new software, right? It's about getting people on board, helping them adapt to new ways of working, making sure they're comfortable, confident in their roles alongside AI. That's where the CHRO comes in, building that culture of learning, dealing with anxieties around job security, making sure everyone feels empowered to thrive, in this changing world. Yeah.
Wow, that's a really interesting way to look at it. It's not just about the tech, it's about the humans using it, which I guess leads to a much bigger question that your notes kind of hint at. If AI is going to be this ubiquitous force, if it reshapes our jobs, our devices, even our whole understanding of what it means to be human, what's next, like where do we go from there? It's like we're on the edge of something totally new beyond even the information age. But what does it even mean to be human when things get blurry between our intelligence and AI?
Well, you brought up Yuval Noah Harari in your notes, his whole Homo Deus thing. Ever really think about what happens if or when we basically merge with AI?
It's a bit mind-blowing, if I'm honest. I can see the potential, the advancements, but there's a part of me like, do we lose something important along the way? So that whole 2001 thing, right? Maybe too many sci-fi movies for me.
Uh-huh. That sci-fi fear, it gets to a lot of us. But even outside Hollywood, we're talking big questions, ethical stuff, philosophy even. Your research, it hints at the need to be really careful, What values are we putting into this AI? Biases we need to watch out for. Creating something that could, well, outthink us has consequences.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack. Feels like we're barely scratching the surface.
That's a deep dive for you, though, isn't it? Exploring these big, uncomfortable questions, even without all the answers neatly lined up.
The best kind of dive, really. So, for everyone listening along with us on this AI journey, here's something to think about. As you keep digging into this, what excites you? What makes you nervous? What kind of future with AI in it do you want? And how do you fit into making that happen? It's not just about the tech, it's about us and the world we're building, what it means to be human, even when that definition starts changing.